What's up, powerlifting strength fans all around the world? It's John D. Villarreal, the 4-time national champion and the third place at the World Championship, third place winner at the World Championships in 2004. So here's my daughter's in the background there. I've got a little 2.5-year-old, but she loves to be in the mix too. So we're having this as a family affair here as well. Now, I didn't think that I was going to, you can bring her over here, it's fine. I didn't think that I was, because she's going to be in the mix anyway, so it doesn't matter. My little daughter, Janair, she's fantastic. I didn't think I was going to do a video tonight because I've got a dual degree from Hopkins. I'm wrapping up, and I've got a bunch of homework to do along with work and everything. First of all, I hope everyone's safe. She can come over. I hope everyone's safe and they're taking care of themselves and their family during this crazy time. Here, I'll grab her. That's Janair. Say hi to everybody. Hi. But I saw this thing on YouTube and I just had to say something. It's basically this quote-unquote feud between Hafthor Bjornson and Eddie Hall. And I definitely have some expert sort of perspective that I can lend to this. I competed at an elite level, I think around 2 decades, maybe 21 years. Again, winning championships, different weight classes, different federations, having trained pro athletes, people that were trying to go to the Olympics, etc., etc. Definitely, you know, Hafthor and Eddie are both extremely accomplished, but I think I have great perspective on this. I think this is super easy. And here's all this comes down to. Both are right in different perspectives. I think Thor's more right, more correct, if you will. And here's what I mean. I'm going to make this ridiculously easy. If you don't know the controversy, this is about Hafthor going for a world record 501 kilogram, which is over 1,100 pounds, like 1,102, 1,103, something like that. Let's just call it 1,102 pound deadlift on May 2nd for a world record. He was supposed to do this at a competition in Dubai. Love you, Booba. That's not going to happen with what's going on here in the world right now. But there's been some back and forth, and here's where I weigh in on all of this. Number one, in terms of if this should be a world record, given that it's going to be done at Thor's gym, even though you're going to have a Magnuson judging this multiple time, you know, record holder, multiple time, world's strongest man, you know, one of the most iconic lifters and strength athletes ever. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't be a world record, in my opinion. Not because of the reasons, you know, it's not that I don't trust Thor, not that I don't trust his team, has nothing to do with that. Has nothing to do with any of the reasons that were already mentioned in some of the videos that I saw, or one of the videos that I saw about this. It's simply this. No matter what, a competition environment is, now, let me say this. If Thor makes the lift, will I personally believe that he is the strongest deadlifter that we've ever seen? Sure, absolutely. But that's a different situation. That's a different connotation. The reason why it's easy, Booba. The reason why it's not a world record deadlift, Salma. Yes. Need a little help with little Booba here. Just getting a little bit. The reason why it's not a world record deadlift is simply because it's not in a competition environment. Why is that so different? That's extremely different. Even if, first of all, you're almost never going to have a world record attempt at your own gym. That's number one. Number two, even if you have a world record attempt at your own gym, you have other lifters in the mix. So let's break those two things out very, very importantly. I won my first national championship in Norman, Oklahoma in 1990. I had to fly out from the West Coast. The travel had an impact on me. The time zone had an impact on me. The venue had an impact on me. The weights and equipment that we used all had an impact on me. Now that's a great story. I've told it before. It's an incredible story, but I overcame a lot of those factors and hardships and lack of sleep and everything to win. And it was a big deal. So when you go for a world record attempt, being able to do it at your own gym is a whole different thing. So now, if there was an international meet, if there was an official sanctioned meet at your gym, that's one thing. But that's a huge advantage. That's a huge deal. And Eddie Hall didn't break the world record at his own gym. That is a factor. Okay, that it's not in a meet. You didn't have to travel. You're using your own equipment. That's why we always talk about gym lifts and competition lifts. It's a big deal. Number one. Number two. This is another huge factor. You don't have to deal with anybody else in this competition, meaning that you get to lift when you're good and ready to lift. You're not rushed. You're not hurried. You don't have to worry about putting your attempts. You don't have to worry about competing about anyone else putting in their attempts. You get to go when you're ready to go. That's massive. It's not like it's a long competition and you're lifting 3 hours past when you thought you were going to lift. It's not that you only have now a 3-minute time turnaround, a 1-minute time turnaround. It depends on the competition, whether we're talking Olympic weightlifting or powerlifting or different things. That also cannot be overstated. That's a huge component. And again, these are small things. These are not small things. These are factors that competitive lifters deal with all the time. And it may not be, it's something that we all know what you can do. When you are competing, like, hey, if I'm going for whatever, if I'm going for, like Maddox going for a 750 bench press or whatever it is, you better have 780 in the tank. You know what I mean? Now, I've hit PRs at national competitions. We all have those stories, but they're great stories because they're rare. And the point that I'm trying to make is when you're talking about lifting a weight that nobody's ever lifted before, every little bit is a big deal. So I'm with the arguments, I'm not saying I'm taking a side, I'm with the argument that Eddie Hall is making in that respect. I personally wouldn't call it a world record. I don't feel that it's a legit world record. Now, maybe I can be convinced otherwise, but it's going to take a lot of convincing. Now, separate and apart, almost everything else that Thor has said about this, I agree with, and I'm going to get to that with another major caveat. But I'm going to lead with that caveat right now. Now, again, if Thor makes the lift, do I think it's legit? Sure. In terms of the lift. Do I believe him, his team, everything? Do I think he would be the strongest deadlifter in the world or ever? Yes, yes, and yes. I have no doubt that it's real weights. They're going to do everything right. They're going to try to do everything legit. I have no doubt on any of it. I have no doubt that Hafthor is. I think he's going to hit the lift. Whether it's May 2nd or whatever, I think that he has that capability that he will break the record one way or the other at some point. I believe that if everything's going the way it's going. Now, you have to do it to do it. We know that. Second point I want to make before I go on this other stuff. Second point I want to make. You want up? 1 second. Apparently we're dressed and ready now. Second point I want to make is that Eddie Hall, when he broke the record and hit the 500 kilogram deadlift, did something that nobody else thought he could do. Did something that was so extreme at the time, it was ridiculous. It was so beyond the concept of what was possible within that era. Now we've seen a lot of people moving up. Now we see Hafthor, he raised the bar to a level that is insane. And so he will always get credit for that. He did something that was so beyond maybe what his capabilities were. Of course he did it. So massive, mad respect to Eddie Hall for that. There's nobody that can take that away from him. Period, end of story. I believe I got the most out of my capabilities. I think I exceeded in a lot of ways my capabilities. I think that I was a great champion, a superior champion, but I knew that I was never going to be, name the elite name. I understood that, and that's okay. So I think in a similar way, Eddie Hall was able to do something so dramatic, for the world, and B, even better, was able to elevate his game beyond probably what his regular capabilities could be. He talked about how he did that deadlift and how he had to push himself to a zone where he was taking huge risk, and if you look at that video, he did take a huge risk, and it was insane. So massive respect to Eddie Hall. No one can ever take that away from him, no question about it. Now, let's put all the other stuff aside. Things that Hafthor said about Eddie Hall being one and done at the World's Strongest Man, about listen, I don't want to get into all that type of stuff, but I kind of hear what Hafthor is saying. You take a Hafthor and a Brian Shaw, I mean, you can name so many different names that have been there, that have been in that mix, that have been very consistent, or Martins. I mean, there's so many other names that have been up there. And I feel like, okay, even though Eddie won, I think that there's a lot of people that have accomplished more in strongman, okay? That's just my opinion, right? You can't compare an Eddie Hall to a Kaz, a Magnus, and all the rest. I also personally have had some issues and some problems personally about the World's Strongest Man. It's the biggest show. It's the show we all know. No one's taking anything away from it. But it's who's going to win a lot of times can be a little bit determined by the events. And I just feel like, I don't know. I just don't, are they going to make it more strength and speed and endurance? Or are they going to make, speed and endurance, or are they going to make it more strength? Or are they going to make it strength and endurance? So, I mean, I hear what Hafthor is saying there. The wins that Hafthor has had across time, really at all the different platforms, nobody can take it away. I also understand what Hafthor is saying in this respect. Look, bottom line, Hafthor is a much bigger athlete than Eddie Hall. He just is. I mean, in terms of frame and everything. I mean, Hafthor is bigger than almost anybody, right? And I believe that Hafthor absolutely has the capability to win. And I think when it's all said and done, Hafthor will break the record, and I think that Hafthor will go down as a better, more accomplished strength athlete. The other thing I want to say is that, I've noticed from Eddie Hall's commentary, like, oh, no one's ever going to beat this, and you have to be willing to die to do it. No. I mean, every record is meant to be broken. And Hafthor just has more capability than you do Eddie Hall. And I think the only thing that Eddie Hall has proven to be better at is bench pressing, and that may be wrong, but I mean just clearly a clear advantage of But I think that Thor's going to break the record. Period. End of story. Whether it's now, whether it's later. So that's just some perspective, maybe some insights and some inside there that can help you in terms of looking at this and framing it. Huge respect to both of them. Eddie Hall, tremendous personality, tremendous champion, tremendous feat. The bottom line is that. Do I think that Thor is a better strength athlete? Yes. Do I think that Thor will break the record? Yes. Do I think that Thor is more accomplished as a strong man? Yes. However, what Eddie Hall did when he did it was so incredible. No one can ever take that away from you, Eddie. So, mad respect to both of you. Fantastic. I don't think there's a controversy here. Hopefully, that's something that can clarify the way to look at this. I am John D. Villarreal, the 4-time national champion and the 3rd place winner at the 2004 World Championships. This is Mount Jenner. Love my life. Hope you guys are having fun and spending time with your family. And I hope everyone's safe out there and healthy. Thanks so much. I will talk to you next time.